What it do? Today's Friday. Got the glasses on. Guess what? It's the podcast, and I'm Garrett Sims, And I had a couple days absence. As you notice, we got some sick beats being dropped in the background. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm going to get copyrighted, but at this point, I really don't give a care in the world. Took a couple days off. Posted a video I was very confident about. Loved it very much. I had that sitting in my camera roll for about 2 months, I think, 2 or 3 months. It's been a while. And, was very, very excited about that. Didn't turn out as well as I thought it would. I got some new video ideas that I'm going to be doing. Not going to say just in case they don't happen, because you never know. But, at this point, you just kind of have to go with the flow. I just took off yesterday because I didn't really feel like it. I was like, there's really nothing to talk about. It's too intense, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. As you know, I think I said Tuesday, I was kind of doing like a social media cleanse where I hadn't really been on social media and I wasn't trying to be. Like, I deleted all my media accounts except for Snapchat. And honestly, it's not that I had the temptation to go on them. It's just habit that I clicked on them. So it's kind of weird. Like, I feel like this entire time, like, there's been a bunch of news circulating about sports and other stuff like that, and I just haven't got to see it because, I didn't have the apps, and I didn't even feel like, oh, I'm gonna click on Snapchat to see what's going on, or I'm gonna click on Instagram. I didn't even. The only time I used Snapchat was really to Snapchat my friends. I mean, that was really about it. So I'm kind of shocked that I didn't really. It wasn't like hard to quit as you'd think it would be. It was just kind of like, oh, it's not there. Like, the only thing it really sucked with is, like, in between sets when you're working out, like, you don't want to go, like, one set after another because you're just going to kill yourself. Like, you need a little bit of rest. And that was the only time that I really felt like I needed it. And, is truly what it is. I think I'm probably going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might keep them deleted. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to decide something. As you know, this weekend as a Chiefs fan, it's a very big weekend. Super Bowl, all that good jazz, as my teacher would say. Very excited. Going to be a great game. No matter what happens, there's a lot of respect between Brady and Mahomes. I think this game virtually comes down to maybe a touchdown, less than a touchdown, and hopefully it turns out the way I want it to, because I have an exam on Monday, but I can take it online. So I'm going to be home actually for a couple podcasts maybe. I don't know yet. We're gonna do something special on Monday and Tuesday maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out as I go. I've definitely looked at different ways of like switching up the interface that I use. Change it up a little bit, make it a little bit cooler. But been focusing this week on just working out and doing homework, and that's always a fun thing to do. Especially when you don't have like, oh, look what somebody posted, look at this and this. You know what I mean? It's just. It's nice to just relax and focus on only look at what you truly need to look at. Got a long drive ahead of me. I'm going back home for the weekend. Hopefully the Chiefs win, and me and my buddies are going to go up to Power and Light to celebrate a Kansas City victory. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to make the parade this year. We went last year, which was like one of the most awesomest things like I've ever experienced. And because it's Red Friday, the last Red Friday of this season, I'm gonna take you into that story, and that's just gonna be the entire thing. So when the Chiefs won last year, we went over to Caleb's house and we shot off some fireworks and stuff like that. It was really fun. We celebrated. And we were like, oh man, we wish we could go to the parade. And Caleb was like, dude, I think we can. And it was like, what, you're talking about staying out in a tent all night or something like that just to get a good spot? And he's like, nah. He said, I have grandparents that live in downtown KC. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And we were all talking, and like me, Tanner, Caleb, Cade, and Nick and Xavier are all talking, and we're like trying to figure it out and stuff like that. Like, what are we going to do? Like, I think we were talking about we were going to drive up at nighttime, spend the night at his grandparents' house, and then the next morning try to get as close as we can. And that night was really... It wasn't very fun for me because the room that I got put in, I was like all by myself. There was no sheets or anything like that because me being the dumbass that I am, I forgot blankets and pillows and all that fun stuff. So I'm sitting there on a bed and I'm like, dude, nobody's in here. the only thing I had was Netflix. So I could actually watch Netflix, but I couldn't really do anything else. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm going to see what the other ones are up to. The other ones, I think Mason and Jackson got put upstairs, I think, in a room. And then the rest of them were out in like this little second house. It was like a guest house or something like that. And so I made a deal with Lane and Dylan, like, hey, you guys can have that bed. I'm like, I don't want to be in there. I was going to go chill up in the top with them. And it was cold out. I mean, it was cold. And I like sleeping in the cold, but, man, I got to have a blanket. So somebody left their blanket that night up in the little loft of the guest house. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to use this. So I'm sleeping on the floor with a pillow. I think it was just extra. I was sleeping on the floor with a pillow. And then I found that blanket, and I'm sleeping good. You know, I'm like, this isn't bad. And then Dylan comes up and says, dude, that's my blanket. Steals it back. And he's like, so I'm like sitting here in the cold. So I eventually get to the point where I'm taking the rug that I'm laying on, and I'm like sleeping underneath the rug. And it was bad. I mean, that was definitely the worst night of sleep that I had that year in particular. And so we wake up. Normally I'm the type of person that likes to get a shower. Lucky enough for me, I did get a shower, but it was freezing cold because we didn't know how to work the shower because it was like an old-timey shower deal. It was like an actual like tub, and it was like it was really weird. So I get a shower, and we're heading down, and I mean, obviously it's packed. We stop in at McDonald's, we get some breakfast, and I'm telling you right now, I mean, this place, it's swarming. Like, we couldn't barely find a parking spot. We had to go to the zoo to park. And at this point, like, as soon as we're walking in a group in, you know, realizing, like, there's a chance that we may not be in a group when we come back. And everybody's sitting there. We're walking past the World War I museum and all that good stuff. And me and Lane just couldn't stop. Like, we were like, dude, we are going to get as close as we can to, like, we're going to get a pretty good spot. So me and Lane are trying to get through this crowd. And I was like, dude, Lane, follow my lead here. And I was like, Mom, where are you? I remember, Mom. I'm just screaming, Mom. I'm like, everybody's like, oh, sorry. I was like, dude, I can't find my mom. She's down there somewhere. I was like, I came here with my mom and my dad, and I had to use the bathroom, and now I don't know where they're at. So everybody's just letting us through at this point. And, I mean, all you can smell is booze and old Mary Jane. Because, I mean, that's what everybody was doing. I mean, we were just having a good time. Like, everybody was just high on life because, I mean, it had been 50 years, you know. I think 50. Yeah, I think it was 50 years since we won a Super Bowl. You know, look at me, the Chiefs expert, not knowing the last time. It was something like that. 50 years in between Super Bowls, so. But we're cutting our way through, and me and Lane are like, Lane's following me. And then there gets to a point where we hit a little standstill where like, nobody's letting through, and Lane's just like, dude, I got this. So I'm following Lane, and we get to this perfect spot. Perfect enough for two people to stand there. It's kind of on this hill, so like you got the perfect view of the stage that they were going to be on. And we just got lucky, and it was like, you know, we really can't get any further because if we get any further, then we're going to be in a bad spot. But we probably found the best spot to be in as late as we showed up. So. And then we just got to experience it. And, I mean, everybody was, like, being totally nice there. I mean, it was, like, it was super fun. It was super fun to be a part of. And, I mean, people were like, oh, it wasn't as big as when the Royals won. Well, that was because the Royals, honestly, was, like, a 50, 60-degree day. You know, it was, I think theirs was more at the beginning of fall, not necessarily in the middle of winter. So, I mean, that was different, but I mean, it was an experience, man. And then you seen Patrick Mahomes get up there and all those guys, and then you're just sitting there just taking it all in because you're like, this is just so cool. That gets all over, and we're heading back. Me and Lane are like, okay, we're gonna get back. You know, we're gonna find our way back. So we're like trying to get through all this. Like the place is disbanding now, so now it's like even more crowded on the way out than it was in, and we can't find anybody. We're texting everybody like, where are you guys? Basically, I just remember that we had walked all the way up the same street that we had went down, and we got on a bus, and this bus is packed. I think I was behind Lane, and then there's some chick behind me, and I think I kept bumping into her, something like, I don't remember, something along those lines. And we're heading back, and we're like, dude, what happens if we don't even find the car or stuff like that? Because I think I had rode up with Tanner, but I think I ended up riding back with Caleb because, I mean, we just couldn't, we were so separated. But, you know, we did get home, and, I mean, I guess it's not really that exciting of a story, but, I mean, I will say, like, no matter who wins the Super Bowl or who wins a championship, if you got a chance to go to the parade, like, I would highly recommend skipping school unless you're, like, a sports athlete and have a game that day or, you know, along those lines. I mean, I would highly recommend doing it. I'm pretty sure there, like, thinking about it now, there was snow and stuff on the ground, but it was a great day. It was fun. There was a lot of people that I knew there. And, you know, being the type of guy that I am, I was like, dude, I got two-man tents, and I was like, dude, we could go up there, you know, grab a generator, hook up a PlayStation. We could just be there all night. Like, yeah, it'd be cold, but, I mean, it couldn't be any colder than it was in that guest room or that guest house because, I mean, it did not feel like there was I knew there was no heat. So that sucked, but, I mean, you know, if they do win and I do get the chance to go, like maybe for instance it's like on a Friday or a Saturday, decide to do it on like a Saturday, which I know would never happen. Just stay the night, grab a generator and stuff, and just stay out all night and wait. But I don't know. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be such a great game. I mean, it's going to be a time to sit back and enjoy some time with friends and family, eat some wings. I really hope. It's like a tradition every year. I mean, I guess it's a tradition, but mainly it's just like a habit deal. Like, we get wings every single year from either Hooters or Twin Peaks, and we just get them in bulk. And that's what we eat for dinner, at least one playoff game out of the year. And since I wasn't home for the Browns, I was home for the Bills, but it was later, and I had to leave that night. So we'll probably do it for the Super Bowl, considering that I don't have to leave really until Tuesday. It's going to be great. You know, so I'm just looking forward to it. So go Chiefs. Other than that being said, I really don't have a lot to talk about, and that was part of the reason I didn't do one yesterday. Cade was supposed to be on, but I was like, dude, I'm talking to him last night, and I was like, I just don't feel like doing it. And I was like, there's just not a lot to talk about, you know. Like, you could sit there and talk about Deshaun Watson again. You could talk about the draft. You could talk about, like, you know, other stuff that's going on. But, I mean, there just hasn't been really. And that could just be me, you know, trying to get off social media and stuff like that. So I apologize for this being so short. If you see this and you hadn't checked out the video that I did on Wednesday, it's called K-Bob's House. It's a podcast original. I just want to put out a disclaimer. It was 100% a skit. None of that was actually real. I was like, hey guys, you know, I kind of wanted to do something funny to like keep like a memory going. Like, I was like, just have a huge argument, and I'm gonna record it, and I'm gonna make some type of parody of Full House. And they're like, okay. And, you know, Cade just starts going off on some random stuff, and Nick's easily to play along with it because Nick's one of those guys that can just get easily offended with anything you say. So I just want to say, disclaimer, it does have bad language. You know, has bad concepts. I don't know what you want me to tell you, but you know, it was 100% a skit. We had planned it, and some of it went along like it was just conversation talk, but most of it was, you know, like 100% for fun and giggles and stuff like that. So have a fantastic weekend. It's been a great Friday. The weather's great out. We've had, I think, 2 great days back to back. Be safe out there. Be grateful for every day that you're here. I'll be back Monday for sure, and I'll be bringing in some great insight to whatever we talk about, and hopefully there's a lot that happens this weekend, and hopefully the Chiefs can bring home the 3rd Lombardi trophy to their collection and add another ring to Patrick Mahomes' hand. As to that, my name's Garrett Sims, and this has been the podcast.